Hey guys, it is Wednesday, March 4th, around 11 p.m. Comic book review time. That's what 11 p.m. is on Wednesday nowadays. Comic book review time. And starting off, we have the new 52 Futures End issue 44. That's the one it says on the cover, issue 44. I didn't have much to say about this book, or I don't have much to say about this book. Quick recap of the plot that we get. Mr. Terrific, Batman, and the Atom are trying to find a plan to stop Brainiac. Superman also goes off to take down Brainiac, leaving the rest of the Justice League to keep Manhattan in order because it's being lifted into the sky by Brainiac right now. Meanwhile, the Batman Beyond gang still trying to find a way to prevent the bad future from happening. We have this guy camping out over here for a new U-Sphere, which, a little joke. People camp out for unreasonable things, haha. The solution to the Brainiac problem, as devised by Mr. Terrific, Batman, and Atom, is Brother Eye, which feels like it's the third time Brother Eye has been activated in the past few issues in order to stop Brainiac. I thought this had already happened, so I'm kind of confused, because this seems to have already happened with somebody activating Brother Eye to beat Brainiac. Meanwhile, this really nice looking splash page, Superman punches Brainiac so hard he reverts to different canon appearances, just like Hawkman did previously. And then the Atom comes rushing in with all the U-Spheres in order to shrink Brainiac down. I'm going to skip to the back here because this is actually pretty funny. Shrink Brainiac down so he can be captured in a U-Sphere, like a Pokemon in a Pokeball. I thought that was actually pretty neat. And then, because Brainiac's defeated, the city starts falling from the sky, and then, like the cover, I think the cover is actually the best illustration of this, Superman lifts New York and gently, gently puts it right back between the East River and the Hudson River, where it's supposed to be. So yeah, that's basically this comic in a nutshell. Pretty standard. All the action took place in one kind of, all the story threads minus one story thread. They're all pretty much in Manhattan at this point. They all took place in one place, all very localized, so pretty easy to follow the action from one story to the next. So this book finally solved that problem. Otherwise, not much to say. At this point, if you're not reading Future's End, you're probably not going to begin at issue 44. So there we go. Next up, we got Grayson, issue number 8. Really enjoyed this one, actually. We start off with the beginning. We have kind of a double beginning, telling two stories parallel to each other. As Minos reveals that he's betraying Spiral for one reason or another, which is confusing because you think he's kind of the boss, but I guess he's not the boss. After that cold open, we have the girls in the school admiring something. Of course, they're admiring the Dick Grayson, because he's handsome. Minos then begins to betray everybody. He shoots Helena in the chest, and then it's up to Dick Grayson and Agent Number 1 to stop Minos from revealing all of the secrets. It's revealed that the organs that the previous 7 issues Dick and Helena spent collecting, those organs turn into a robot that has all of the Justice League's powers, which leads to a really cool splash page of Dick Grayson telling Agent Number 1 how to counter each of the Justice League. Very Batman, of course. Because Batman, of course, has all the strategies on how to counter all the Justice League. So again, getting that whole he's still Nightwing, he's still Batman's protege. He still had all this training with Batman. He knows how to counter all of these things. And there's this great panel over here as he's fighting the robot, where Dick Grayson says, "Holy." I don't know if you can read that. I hope you can. This is "Holy Child in the Desert, Batman." Very, like in the '60s show, as Burt Ward would say as Robin, "Holy blank, Batman." And he actually does this in this book. I enjoyed that very much. And then at the very end of this book, they finally track down Minos. They beat the robot. And Helena gets a very James Bond-esque moment where Minos goes, "Cross my heart and hope to die," and then he gets shot in the chest by Helena. Very, very James Bond, very kind of spy fiction there. And the actual ending of this book, the last few pages, very intriguing, very spy fiction. I want to keep reading. And we're definitely in the next chapter of Grayson now. Definitely, Minos is out of the picture. We have new agents, Spiral. The mystery of Spiral gets deeper and deeper. So, yeah, very intriguing, very cool stuff, very stylish. I'm liking it a lot. Next up, we have Detective Comics issue 40, which is the last issue of the Anarky arc. And I'm glad it is because, as I said earlier, when my review of issue 39, I thought this arc has gone on way too long. I think it's kind of losing its way, and so we finally have the conclusion here, and I'm glad we do. We begin with Anarky beating the shit out of Jervis Tetch, the Mad Hatter. As Batman tries to stop it, but he's also dealing with Bullock, I think he was shot in the last issue, if I remember correctly, so Batman's trying to get Bullock to safety. What did I write here? Yeah, the main plot of this book splits into two as Batman goes directly after Anarky in a head-to-head fist fight. And I just love the art in this book. I know I say this every time I review the book, but the art in this book is fantastic. Just all of it is really great. And I'm able to forgive a lot because this book looks amazing. So as Batman is punching Bullock, as Batman is punching Anarky, Alfred tells Bullock to look for the signal. It was revealed that all the masks have the Jervis Tech's mind control technology, so Alfred tells Bullock to look for the signal where all the mind control-y signals are coming from. Then there's a bunch of fighting, a bunch of really good looking fighting, of course, Batman versus the mob. You also have Alfred trying to quell the mob, unsuccessfully, but he gives it a shot. Anarky tries to give a "we're not so dissimilar" speech, the "you're just like me" speech, which isn't very effective against Batman because, well, he's Batman. You can't trick him into something dumb like that. And then Bullock ends up saving the day. I don't want to spoil exactly how, but he ends up saving the day, saving Batman and all that. Very, very good ending. I like the ending. Again, not so keen on how we got there, but I think the ending, it was okay considering the story preceding it. Very nice. And then the actual last page of this book is it's just so pretty. Just such a pretty last page. I had my problems with the story, but the way it ended on this page, I can forgive a lot. So there we go. With Detective Comics number 40. Moving on now to Batman Eternal number 49. Number 48. I was close. Number 48. Which is this supposed to be? Oh wow! I just noticed that it's a hat, and then the Penguin is getting a hat put on him, and all the things are. I just noticed that because I'm looking at it from far away because it's on the camera now. That's pretty neat. Pretty neato. I wonder if it's also a hint towards maybe the Mad Hatter, again, doing something. Anyway, this book opens on Jason Bard trying to get Commissioner Gordon, or James Gordon, not Commissioner anymore, but Bard, trying to get Gordon out of prison. Bard realizes that he's been in the wrong and that Gordon needs to go free in order to restore order to Gotham City. Meanwhile, someone is helping out the Penguin in Blackgate, so that's what's happening there. So you have Bard trying to race to Blackgate, get Gordon out, and then someone getting the Penguin out of Blackgate. So you have those two stories bashing together. You also have the Bat family: Batwing, Batgirl, Red Hood, Bluebird, and Red Robin. Red Robin? No. Yes, Red Robin. Red Robin. That's not his name. Is it his name? Yeah, it is his name. Fuck, that's his name. His name is Red Robin. Anyway, sorry. Fighting off the villains, and Hush from the Batcave. He knocked out Alfred last issue and sent sent Alfred's daughter away out of the Batcave. So now Hush has free reign on the Batcave, uses the Bat computer to sabotage all of the Bat family, leading them to probably get very hurt, as foreshadowed here with Bane, Mecha Bane, and Red Hood. Then we finally cut to Batman. He's trying to get back to Gotham City. In the last issue, Hush sabotaged the Bat plane, so that crashed somewhere next to a military facility, which leads to probably the best page in this book: Batman stealing a fighter jet and leaving an IOU. Just really good, really funny stuff. I laughed. I audibly felt a guffaw when I saw this page, and I stopped and I looked at it and I was like, okay, that's really good. That's just an undeniably good page right there. We also have Spoiler on the page across from it. Spoiler meeting up with Vicky Vale, and giving her the flash drive with all the info on it before she's kidnapped by her father. And then what happens? Oh, and then the book ends in Blackgate during a prison riot where Gordon and the Penguin end up face to face. Again, like Future's End, you're probably not going to hop on this book now. A bit of a lull issue after the previous ones, but I mean, you gotta have those. Can't be constant up all the time, I guess. And again, not bad, not disappointing, just a bit slower. Next up, we have Saga, number 26. This book always ends, I don't want to say too much, but this book always ends in a way that punches you in the gut and makes you feel really bad for everybody. And, so before we get there, though, I should go through the beginning and the rest of the book before getting to the ending, which I won't spoil. But we begin with Marco and his gang foiling a convenience store robbery, on their way looking for Marco's family and the Prince of Robots family too. Meanwhile, they find some drugs on the robber, which I forget, Moss Lady, I forget her name, but she decides to take. Meanwhile, we have Alana and Dengo. Dengo just summoned a bunch of resistance fighters or freedom fighters. Alana is pretty sure that they're terrorists, so they have a disagreement on whether or not they can trust these people. Alana tries to reason with Dengo, and it seems that Dengo is not entirely unreasonable as we go in this book, which is something. We then cut to the party looking for the will. So we have, I forget everyone's name, but they're fighting the Piss Dragons from the last issue. Things are not going very well. But then diplomacy saves the day. Gwendolyn uses her translating charm thingy in order to talk to the dragons. And I just love the dragon's face in this panel, just the shocked face that someone is talking to it. Just the bugged out eyes. Diplomacy works, you know? It doesn't work all the time, but when it works, it definitely works. And then they talk to the dragons. They're trying to find the dragon sperm. So going a little bit ahead on that mission there. Yeah, and then we cut back to basically cut back to everywhere else. So we have Marco, the prince, and everyone else on their ship looking for the family. We cut back to Alana Dango and the Freedom Fighters. And then we have basically the ending to this book, which I'm not going to spoil, but is as this book tends to do, is a punch to the gut. Is something where you just want to go in and hug the character and be like, no, why are you doing this? Why are you breaking my heart? Why are you... I understand. I mean, your motivations are clear because this book is very good about, you know, making characters very make sensey and, you know, like giving a good explanation as to why all these characters behave the way they do. But why do you do this to me? Yeah, which I'm pretty sure is a sign of a good book. So again, if you're not reading Saga, pick up every issue before this, read 1 through 25, then pick up this and read this one because it is incredible. And the last book this week, and one I went into very excited and came out also very excited. You know, one that could have gone either way. All new Hawkeye #1, the first of the new Hawkeye books written by not Matt Fraction but Jeff Lemire. Jeff Lemire, also a very good writer. So, you know, I wasn't going in expecting it to be bad, just expecting it to not be what I'm used to. And I don't want to say pleasantly surprised, because it wasn't a surprise that it was good, but I did very much enjoy what I had read here. Jeff Lemire, I was going into this actually wondering how similar this would be to Jeff Lemire's run on Green Arrow, the other archery-based superhero, but so far it looks to be he's separating those runs very well, at least in this first issue. Who's to say how similar it might get in the next few issues. But we open on this nice kind of watercolor purple flashback on Clint Barton's early life. He's going out with his brother Barney to catch some frogs in Iowa. And then we cut to immediate change of art. Well, not immediate. A few pages in, we cut to the present tense. I feel the art here is purposely trying to evoke kind of David Aja's art, or David AGA's art from the Matt Fraction Hawkeye run. I mean, it's different, clearly different, but I feel it's a similar style. I guess trying to ease people into the transition. And in the present, Clint Barton and Kate Bishop, the new Hawkeyes, are doing a raid on a Hydra base looking for secret weapons. That isn't turning out so well, as they are vastly outnumbered. And we have this page here where Clint gets locked out while Kate is still in there. Very Metal Gear Solid, you know, in a very cold place. You have Clint going, Kate, Kate, Kate! So yeah, there's that. We then flash back again to Clint and Barton's past, where they're catching frogs, or have caught frogs, returning home to what we find out is an abusive foster home. Very strikingly shown here. Just the red blood splatter on the purple watercolor. Very, very clear what's going on, or I mean, they also like show it, and they tell it as much as show it, rather. But just very striking art immediately, even without any word bubbles. You know this is not a happy home, and so they decide to run away together. I'm not going to spoil where to, but if you know your Hawkeye kind of trivia, you can probably guess where Clint and Barney end up running off to, and spending the rest of their childhood. We then continue in the present. Kate makes her way deeper into the base, Clint finds a way back in, and Kate makes a discovery where when she finds out what the secret weapons are, but I'm not going to spoil what they are, but yeah, Kate discovers what they are. It is very bad, and then Clint is trying to go and help her out with that. So, yes, I very much enjoyed Hawkeye #1. Again, not that I wasn't expecting to, but coming from the run, one of my favorite comic runs ever, from Fraction and Aja. This is a very gentle transition to something new. It's something very new. This is overtly more superhero-y. You start with a raid on a secret base, so instead of starting off at an apartment building in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn, you're in an Arctic base. So very much change of scenery. That was very Doge. Very big change of scenery. Clearly going for something completely different, which I think is the best idea instead of trying to emulate that Fraction. So that is it for this week. Very small pull this week, which I'm glad we had a couple big ones in a row. So small is nice. It's a nice little reprieve. And yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please like this video. If you want more of these every week, and then some other videos I might decide to do that aren't comic booky things, please feel free to subscribe. And yeah, any questions, comments, concerns, whatever, leave them down below or message me privately, whichever you're more comfortable with. And yeah, thank you for watching. Hope I'll see you next week.